Hi everyone, I'm really sorry for my delay, but here I am and I bring you another special this time. I've been a little bit busy with work and the internship and the master, but I'm back and I'm really happy to be here because I have to bring you a special book related video, but it's not exactly about books. It's more about the library, the National Spanish Library in this case. A few weeks ago, there was an open day where a lot of people for free could visit the library, but not only the normal areas that you can actually visit, but some kind of the restricted ones, such as the archive or the area where you can check, let's call it weird items. So I went there with my father and I had the chance of visiting it. I couldn't take my camera with me because I'm actually filming with the integrated camera of my computer at the moment, but I was quite happy to bring a camera with me. In this case, I took a few photographs, not all of them, because otherwise I will be more like taking photos and doing the tour itself. But I really enjoyed the exhibition, so I thought I could guide you through and talk to you about the library and the areas that we explored. So, welcome to the Spanish National Library. Well, the first thing to say is that the library or the library staff did a great job introducing and guiding us through the library. We were part of a group. I think we were around 20 people or 15 people, and we were guided through these areas of the library very well. It was very well adapted. I am a wheelchair user, in case you haven't noticed or you haven't listened any of my noises that I do with a wheelchair. So I was very happy to see that actually all the places that we could visit or I could visit, it was all the places that the rest of the public was visiting. Because sometimes when I go to these kind of things, there are areas that I cannot actually see. But in this case, they were very prepared. So in case they are watching this video, thank you very much for making so accessible route. Well, first things first. First thing you need to know, and I have discovered myself flicking through the website of the library, is that this national library that we have in Spain was founded in, let's see if I'm able to say, around 1711, and it was founded by the king at that time, which was Philip the Fifth, if you translate it into English, or Felipe Quinto, if you say it, or Felipe the Fifth, if you say it in our language. In that case, he founded in 1711, but then it was opened up to the public or to the people 1 year later in 1712. In this case, it was named as the public royal, let's say if I'm able to say it, yes, the public royal library, and then transformed into public library itself. So the first thing we visited was the main hall with very long ceilings and a very majestic staircase. But no worries, there are lifts everywhere if you want to visit it. And the first area we visited, I think it was in the first floor, and it was the like temporary expositions that was dedicated to a author called Etchegaray, and there you could see all his original writings and also different editions of his works. And I consider it really a good intro to place you in the library. And then we visited one room of this temporary exhibition area that you could see all the paintings of all the writers that actually won the Cervantes Award, you have to know that apart from being the Shakespeare year, apart from being the Shakespeare year, it's actually the Cervantes year. They were very they are always very together in terms of death, although they didn't die. Both authors didn't die on the same day, but they were very close in time, so they are always remembered together. In this case, you could one of the most important awards, literary awards that you can win, is the Cervantes Award. And in this room, there were paintings of all the writers that won the Cervantes Award. And I don't know, I don't remember any painting at the moment, but it was a medium size room, all covered with different styles, because the writer decides who is the painter that is going to work on his portrait, and so you can find different styles there. Then we visited my favorite area of the library. You have to take into account that normally this library you can go inside, but you cannot bring books with you, or you cannot take books out of the library. So you need, there are a lot of controls in terms of, they check your bags and with machines and stuff like that to prevent from stealing material from the library. So it's very secure. So it was my first time in the library, and you have to know that my favorite place was the big reading hall, the big reading room. It was a very old room that actually has this kind of seats, wooden seats and wooden tables proper of the, I don't know, 19th century. And I love it because you have these individual tables where you can sit. And they told us, apart from, well, it was a little bit confusing trying to follow the guide explanation in this room, because although it has a very long ceilings, and you may expect that all the noise creates a bubble and you cannot actually hear anything at all because of the noise that the echo is doing, and the sound itself. But it's not like that. Actually, whenever she was talking, she was using a very low tone of voice. But whenever she was talking, you could feel like the sound was actually getting lost, like dying in the air. I don't know. It's something related to the acoustic, but I'm not to the acoustic of the room. But it was really weird. She was talking, and I was a little bit in the middle of the group, so I wasn't able to follow the explanation because we couldn't hear anything at all. But one of the things I heard, it was that as she explained, when you visit the library with your cat, for example, you decide to make a card, it's completely free, like the normal card that you may do on your local library for any sort. You normally need to call first and ask if the book you want to read is available, because sometimes they are quite rare books or very specific books that other people may be using at this point. So you call ahead and you tell, like, I have reserved, or I have asked for these people to find me this particular book. So they bring the book to the one of the joined rooms to this hall, the reading room. So you go to this next smaller room and you ask for your book. You give your details. You ask for your book, and they give you a tiny card, pink paper card with a number. This number is your table, your space, your seat. You sit down in your designated table and you enjoy the reading. I don't know why I found this very unique. I never heard about a library. I never heard of a library that provides this kind of designated area for any kind of the users. But I found it really nice, and also I think I was mesmerized by the surroundings. During this monologue I'm doing, you will be probably seeing photographs, or maybe you are not seeing my face but only seeing the photograph. If you see a finger, that was my dad. Sorry. Um, what else I have to tell you? After that, we visited the second floor, I think it was, and in one of the corridors there was one of the person in charge of restoring books and making sure that they are not damaged. So she was showing my group, or the group I was with. She was showing different kind of books that were um, damaged by insects, by what else it was, by insects, by um, viruses, by humidity, by even by animals that actually use the books or the pages, not to eat, not to eat the paper or something like that, but to make shelter. You have to understand that the library has a very big archive, and maybe in the lower shelves you may find little mouses and things like that. I know it's not nice, but it's what they have. So it was funny because she was talking about a kind of insect. I don't remember what it was, that actually didn't eat the pages or the content of the book, but she was eating the glue that, for example, this is the notebook I used to write the topics I want to present you here in my channel. So imagine that we're taking this book, and actually the insects only eat the glue that sticks the pages to whatever the hardcover in this case. So they have to redo the cover and the, you know, they have to pile up again and create a harder cover to it, as close as they can from the original. And she was telling us that they were trying to apply uh, Japanese techniques. I didn't find a word to make the books restoration better, because they were the best in terms of creating or recreating or healing books. Later, we visited the archive, or a part of the archive. The archive was originally a big room with very tall ceilings, but then they discovered that they needed more space. So what they did was actually like dividing this big area by adding a ceiling, so you have two floors instead of one. We could actually walk along one of these levels of the archive. We couldn't walk around the shelves because they were protected. So visited a little bit more technological area where you can actually, you have these little things where you can see slides or all images. I will leave a photograph of that area around here. And also we visited an area that actually was exposing not books themselves, but magazines from different times, different period of times, also different new journals. Every book or journal that is printed or DVD that is produced, every kind of cultural element or item that is produced in Spain has to deliver, or yeah, has to deliver two copies to the public library. This means that they have two copies of every book, every CD, every DVD, every journal that is printed, every magazine that is printed. If it's daily, every day they receive a copy of whatever journal you want. If it's a weekly thing, the same goes. So in this case, they are a little bit out of space. That's why they have to part the archive in two. Um, but they are a little bit stuck. They are quite. They don't have any more space actually, so they have to mm, mm, change the plans. And what they normally do is these books that are very old and very damaged, or that it's very dangerous because of their importance and its value. Their value is very risky to allow the people, the users to actually deal with the original book. They send it to another building that they have in Alcalá de Henares, which is a different location, not in Madrid. So they go there and they save them there. And if you need the actual physical copy, you have to bring your own permission. But they are also doing another thing, which is digitalizing every item that they have. So if you need, let's say, a rare book written by Cervantes, but you know they have it, you could actually check it on the website and have access to one of the digital copies. Or one thing that they are doing as well is if you have to submit two copies of a book. Imagine that you're writing a book and you're writing it here, so one of the copies goes there. They are allowing to only submit one copy and the other copy goes in digital form. So, but there are other things that they are having trouble with, which is the digital space. They are not having enough memory in the cloud to have all this material saved. So they are dealing with bigger computers and bigger memories and so on. But let's go back to the tour, okay? So in this area where we could see different journals and other kind of items such as photographies, DVDs, music, and so on, they had the front cover of, or the front page, better said, of a journal that it lasted after the Civil War. It was very famous during the Republic that Spain had for a long for some time, and then they ended up in this. This journal finished after the Civil War because this journal called El Liberal. It was very important because um, it was very rights, civil rights defender, and it was positioned towards the closer to the poor, the how I could say the work class more than the riches, and also it was known because it was the first Spanish um, journal that didn't include crosses in the obituary because they considered that they weren't like religious, so they considered that they didn't need to include crosses. But of course, after the Civil War, and because it was very like pro civil rights oriented and very non religious and very defensor of women rights as well, they decided to close it to close the journals. It was important because they were commemorating Cervantes and El Quixote again, so it was very important. And lastly, the last room we visited, it's more of a, how I can say it, it's more a room for meetings. It's the room of patrimony, sorry, where the people that are in charge of creating or taking care of the library and deciding which books to buy or to bid for the library interest reunite and decide and discuss what is next for the National Library. And again, I will leave you a lot of photographs about this because they have a few beautiful chandelier and I fell in love with it and I have to take a picture of it. What else I have to tell you? Of course, I visited the shop. Sorry, I visited the shop. In this case, I bring with me a very important collection of short novellas written by Cervantes, written in all Spanish. So, my edition, I'm going to disappear for a while. Here. And I'm back. My edition over here that I have here is written, as I said, in old Spanish. It's like very, very old Spanish from the period of time where Cervantes was like considered like writer. He was living. So you have this collection of stories divided into. I was going to say short novellas, but it's not actually short. 2 volumes where you can have all his novellas, which were called novelas ejemplares. And I already have a copy of his most important novel, so I decided to go with this. And I love this kind of like very, very soft um, paperbacks, but it's not actually paperback. I don't know which material is the one that this is made, but it's very soft and very like old-fashioned. So I love it. So this is all for today. I hope you enjoy my explanation. I know it's very, very long, but I really needed to tell you a lot of stuff. I hope you like it. If you have visited the library, let me know down below. If you want to visit it or if you have checked the digital website or the digital content of the library, just let me know on the comments. Do you have any special library or very, very famous library where you live? Tell me which one it is and leave the website to it down below so I can check it. I hope you have an amazing week and I hope we can see each other soon. Goodbye.